and welcome back to my channel. This is Early Career Academic. On this channel I explore how I set goals, how I pursue goals, and what I do when I can't meet those goals, all kinds of stuff. I am an academic, as I said. I'm also a wife and a cat mom and a passion planner ambassador. Today I'm going to write out my 22 for 2022 goal list in the back pages of my passion planner. On the right here, I have all these things covering up the other side just to not be distracting, although it does look a little distracting. These actually I'm going to pin to a board later in my office, but I've been hanging on to them till I go back to campus. In any case, this page, because I am an academic and this is an academic planner, it bridges the year 2021 and the year 2022, so that's why there's two lists. I kind of like doing it this way personally because I can, very clearly see like what I didn't get to on this list and then transfer it to this or drop it if I no longer want to do it. Down here, these are monthly and weekly tasks that I had set for myself last year. So those aren't important for today's video. I'll probably go over them in a future video. But for today, we're going to fill out this 22 for 2022 list. And for those of you who might not know, this is like something that I'm not entirely sure who started it, but someone started noticing like the number at the end of the year and then saying I can set X number of goals for that year to align with that year's numbers. Now 22 goals might seem a little ambitious. Some of these though are really simple, like things that I would actually encourage you, if you were making a list like this, to consider some like really simple things you can put on here. For example, I need to get a zipper on a dress redone, like re-zippered. And it's been sitting in my closet for years at this point, but I want to get that zipper fixed in case I ever have the opportunity to wear this dress anywhere again. So some of those goals can be really specific and really small, like things that don't require a lot of time or energy, but they've just been like, kind of withering in the closet of your ambition for a while, and you just want to get them out of your mind and off your plate. And so that's the kind of thing I add here, but also things like things I've been meaning to do with my family or in my area where I live, stuff that's not like necessarily a huge priority that aligns with your life goals, but like stuff that you really want to do. And that's the kind of thing I put on these lists. Don't get me wrong, some of these goals you'll see are actually aligned with my life goals, and I will explore that more fully in my passion roadmap video coming up. But for most of these though, are, it's not going to be the end of the world if I don't do them, but at the same time, they are things that I do want to make time for in the year 2022. Now, let me just start with like a quick overview of what occurred in 2021. I did do a check-in with this list in an earlier video if you guys want to watch that. But I'll go ahead and kind of do like a recap and sort of say like why some of these things didn't get done and why some of them did. So the first one is, the first two I should say are linked. It's read 21 new books and watch 21 new shows or movies. You can see I was like not paying attention. I wrote read twice, but anyway. That's because at the beginning of this year of 2021, I had kind of fallen out of the habit of like introducing new things to myself. I felt like I rewatched a lot of movies or I reread a lot of books because I guess maybe the year 2020 was so chaotic and so stressful that I just wanted to go someplace I knew I would enjoy, like a comfort zone, right? So the goal of having this number here was to snap me out of it. And it actually really worked. I read a lot of new books this year. I watched a ton of new movies and TV. I didn't keep track as much of those things, but I did. I have been, on another page, I have a list of books that I've read. So that actually helped, having this on the list to kind of snap me out of like the rut I was in. Finish cross-stitch project. I have actually made progress on this. It is nowhere near being finished, but I had picked it up after just sitting idle for like years. Again, putting it on the list helped me remember that it existed And whenever John and I had our hobby hour, sometimes I would do art and sometimes I would do cross stitching. So I actually made progress on this even though I didn't finish it, but this is going to be migrated over. Try podcasting. I absolutely did that. I launched a podcast in October. Probably not the best time for an academic to launch something as ambitious as a podcast. I had a good, solid 3 episodes before I had to abandon it because I didn't have enough backed up episodes to persist with a bi-weekly schedule. I am going to migrate this though and relaunch it in the new year with backup episodes. So that is lessons learned, but still I checked it off. I tried it and I loved it. Write to my grandparents once per month. This actually worked out really well. I send my grandpa treats every month. I also write letters to his sister, who I reconnected with over this past summer, and then also to my stepfather's mother. She just moved to a home, so I will be continuing to do this. I'm not migrating this over here because it's now just something I do and not like a goal I need to set for myself, but it is something that I just do on a regular basis. Begin the study of Arabic. Oh goodness, that did not happen at all last year. However, I did buy a book. I bought it months and months ago, probably beginning of this year, to hope that this would actually happen. So that I have the book. This is migrating for sure because I want to at least get through this book and then decide if I want to actually take a real class or what I want to do next to help me with the study of Arabic. Make a will. We did zero things in relation to this. I think I asked some friends if they had lawyer recommendations for us, and none of them had made a will themselves, so they did not have any recommendations for Virginia lawyers anyway. If you have a recommendation for a Virginia lawyer who makes wills, by all means, let me know in the comments. Finish a Wiki article. I actually just checked this off today because I realized I actually did finish this. I submitted it to a journal. It is under review right now. So really proud of that. Finish tweet sets article. No, it's probably ambitious of me to think about finishing / writing more than an article a year with my teaching schedule. I probably could have done more if I hadn't had such a horrible summer. Maybe. But my pretty consistent average of publication is 1 article a year. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Finished book proposal, definitely new. I did reading for this. I absolutely took notes and did reading for this. I did not actually do a whole lot with it though. I did apply for a grant to fund some additional work on this. So fingers crossed I get that grant so that I can move the needle on that. Also, good news, I just got an email from a publisher that's interested in any of my book ideas, my academic book ideas. So I'm gonna go connect with him at an upcoming conference and pitch my concept to them, see what they think. Donate my hair, I did that. If you wanna see a picture of how much hair I donated, which was a lot, you can check out my Instagram. I did post a picture of it there. Play Star Trek game, we did that. Friends came over at some point in the year and we played the Star Trek game. It was a little involved and it took us a while to figure out the rules, and then we kind of because we were tired, we ended it more abruptly than we could have. But I would be willing to redo this game, especially since we kind of every new game does take a little while to figure out the rules. But we had fun with that, especially because we were Trek nerds. Practice systems to see what works. I did actually quite a bit of this over the course of the past year. I still kind of tweaking things, and deciding what systems work well for me, but for the most part, I like what I have going on. I think I'm going to tweak my academic writing project systems a little bit, and so stay tuned for decisions on that score. But this is actually, I did do a lot of that, so I checked it off. Blog consistently. I did do that for the most part. I didn't do it over the summer because, as I said, I experienced a horrible loss, but most of the fall semester I blogged on the regular, and so with the spring. So if you are interested in some of those blogs, it is linked in the description of this video. In that blog, I tend to focus a little bit more on academic specific stuff. So, but it could be interesting to you. Preserved lemons. I did make preserved lemons. Pretty easy. You just like take a lemon and you quarter it, but not all the way to the bottom. And then you shove a bunch of salt in it and you stick a couple of those salted lemons in a mason jar and you mash them down a little bit, pour more salt, mash a little more, pour more salt until like the juice rises. Then you seal it and you let it do its work. And the longer it sits, the more delicious it becomes. You can use preserved lemons on a lot of things like salads, chicken, all kinds of stuff. It's a Middle Eastern thing, I think. And so I wanted to try it, and I did. Try Diva Cups. Yes, I did try those. I ordered the wrong size though. Y'all, I don't even know. Like, why did I think that my vagina was bigger than everyone else's? I'm not sure, but I ordered the large, and that was probably not a good idea because they told you that you should just stick with the regular size until you know more about your body. It didn't fit. Like, I could not get it to fit comfortably. And so I abandoned the effort. But side note, and linked to this, I tried out the first time period underwear, and I'm a huge fan, you guys. Huge fan. If you are looking to almost entirely replace pads or tampons, I cannot recommend the period underwear enough. I would urge you to get at least 3 pairs because I find that's a good number to carry, like to hopscotch through the week. But I just like, it's a game changer. I don't know if it's just me getting older or what it is, but I used to be a very, I mean, I've used tampons my whole menstrual career, if you will. And those are great. And they are the only thing you literally can wear if you actually want to swim. But that, swimming aside, the period underwear, so much more effortless than like trying to remember like when the last time you changed your tampon was. So I recommend it if you're looking for an alternative. So then I'm just gonna like group these last ones. These are all house projects. So this doesn't mean that John and I didn't do anything to our house this year. We absolutely did. We had to replace our entire water heater at one point. We had a lot of house related stuff that occurred, but we didn't actually get to any of these more decorative things. So these are mostly paint projects. And so none of that happened in the year 2021. And as I said, I mean, this whole year was so much unexpected things occurred that it's just a miracle I got any of these things checked off, honestly. So these are going to be migrating to the new year. So now start on the new list. All right, so some of these I'm just gonna start with the migrated stuff and then get it to the new stuff that I'm adding. So I definitely want to finish the cross stitch project. And I think if we keep doing our happy hour, that will happen. Our happy hour, hobby hour. Happy hobby hour. I want to study the Arabic book. The book that I bought, and then make decisions about what I want to do after that. But I think if I make this goal a little smaller, like more specific, I might actually do it. Get a Virginia lawyer to do our damn will. It's gonna happen, y'all. We are gonna be proper adults. We will get a will. I need to finish the Tweet Sets article. So assuming there's not going to be some massive derailing thing in my life, I think I can actually do that in the spring semester and then be set up for the summer to work on my book is the thinking. So we'll see. And speaking of that, I have the book proposal. And maybe depending on how that conversation goes with the publisher, that might look a little different. We'll see. And then what I'm doing right now is I'm just jotting down some of those paint projects. I've actually like grouped them together a little bit more to take up less space. And, you know, like, again, not the end of the world if this stuff doesn't happen, but it would be so nice if I could finally cross this off my list because it's been on there for so long. And then something that was on this list that I omitted when I wrote it in this book is I need to get my knives sharpened. There's a place that does it at a food market, and so I just need to like get my stuff together and take it. And then this is the zipper I was telling you about. That also didn't make it on this list, but it's going on this list because I just want to get that damn thing fixed. And like, it was a whole thing. I took it to this dry cleaner that has an alterations person, and she was like, no, you have to come back, I can only take cash. So then I brought cash, came back, and then she was like, oh no, you need to find a zipper that matches this color. I'm like, what is the point of you? I'm like, I want to pay you to do this. Anyway, that's like a whole thing. So I'm just going to take it to another alteration, like an actual alterations place, not a dry cleaner that has someone who clearly just wants to hem and unhem things. So now we get to the good stuff. So for a long time, I have wanted to go to the National Cathedral. They do a tea and tour, like a tour of the cathedral plus a tea. And this was on my actual, I think it probably was on my 2020 list. But then, of course, the pandemic came and they canceled all that. So I didn't put it on this past year's list because I didn't know if they'd ever pick it back up again. But I think it is running again now, maybe. So I'm putting on this list because I'm optimistic that this is the year that it will finally happen. The other thing that was on my 2020 list was to take my nieces somewhere, like somewhere fun, just a girls' trip, you know? And I still want to do that. So maybe this will be the year. It'd be kind of nice. Like my one niece, I think, is a little too young to be vaccinated. But my other niece, I think, is old enough. Maybe. So I'm going to check in with them later in the year and hopefully take them somewhere fun. I also want to make candied rhubarb. It's just something I want to try, see if I like it. Love rhubarb in any way, shape, and form, so I'm pretty sure I'll like it. I want to do 2 5Ks this year. And over the winter, I actually want to just like walk, like I know like we have a 5K route that goes through our neighborhood that an organization like uses that route all the time. So I just want to do it myself for a little bit to get more used to it and then do like 2 proper 5Ks. I think that would be a lot of fun. I would love to organize a cabin camping trip. Near us, there's this really good lake that we like to camp at, and they have cabins available, but you have to kind of like be on top of it in terms of booking them before they all like, you know, get booked for a specific weekend. So it would be awesome if I could snag them and then like invite some people to come with us one weekend. So that would be fun. I would really like to read a book on infant adoption. We are, as you guys know, if you've been watching this channel, like in the middle of trying to adopt a child, and I feel like pretty good about the caring for a baby aspect of it all. But there are always unique things when it's like an adoption event, and I just think I need more information to feel a little less like nervous about all of it. So I think a book would be a good thing. This will be easy for me to do once I get back, and that is to restart composting. I stopped it because I just had too much going on since the summer, and I want to restart it because I actually love composting. For us, it takes like more effort because we don't have a yard and we have to take our composting to an actual like the city compost. But I want to restart that. And then I want to maintain our weekly hobby hour. And so I'm not sure if I'll be able to check that off, but I will if I made like a good faith effort. I want to host a midsummer dinner party. And yes, I did spell that correctly. It is midsummer. That is a Nordic concept. And I actually came up with the dinner party menu for this last summer. But then, as you guys know, my whole summer went to hell. So I didn't actually end up doing it, but I have the menu. I'd really like to do it. Plus, I actually did some really cute crafts for it. So I have the crafts, I have the menu. I think it'd be really fun to do the dinner party, but I'm going to do that like in June is when midsummer takes place. So I want to restart my podcast. And the link to that is in the description of this video if you want to subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts so that when I do restart it, you have it in your queue. It's like an awesome podcast. It's called Vida Abundantur, which means like to live a life more abundant. And I interview amazing women and talk to them about the concept of abundance and how they live abundant lives and how other women can live abundant lives. So I'm going to restart that with some energy in the new year and excited for that. So subscribe if you are interested. Finally, I would like to add some more academic content to this YouTube channel. I actually this is probably going to be the hardest thing on this list to do, all things considered, because sometimes I get nervous about offering advice. Like, first of all, academia is like a glorified shit show right now. But at the same time, I should say, I still feel so new at it, even though I've been in it for 10 years and I do have wisdom to offer. I get a little insecure about it sometimes. So that's why this channel has mainly been like kind of in the planning line, because planning is less intimidating to me. I've been doing it for much longer. And, you know, it doesn't feel like the same, I don't feel the same kind of hesitancy to share with you guys how I plan things compared to like what I might suggest for you as an academic. So anyway, that's just a hurdle I have to get over for myself, and I will absolutely do that. All right, so those are my 22 for 2022. I hope you found this video interesting. I would love to know, like, what are you putting on your list for the new year? Maybe you're not doing all like 22 things, but you have a goals list. I would love to know kind of what things you've been meaning to do, you wanting to do. You know, maybe the pandemic totally threw you off. Like, what are you planning to add to your goal list for the new year or for the new semester if you're doing a semester list? And thanks again for watching me go through this process and prepare myself for an upcoming year. Stay tuned because I do have my Passion Roadmap video is coming out. Passion Planner has a really cool roadmap feature for goal setting. This, you might think, like, is a pretty comprehensive list, but really I like doing the Passion Roadmap because it helps me think about like what I'm doing and how I'm spending my time in relation to like my life goals. So that video is coming up, and I am going to think about some additional fun videos to post in January, probably some more academic content to meet one of these goals that I have for myself. And again, thanks for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Please feel free to share with your networks if you think that they'd be interested as well. Follow me on Instagram if you want to see some of the behind the scenes sort of stuff about how this all comes together. And thanks again. I will see you back here shortly.